Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you today about the concept of sexuality, of almost abandoning a partner from a sexual standpoint, and of a couple ideas of how to work with this. So there's sometimes this desire mismatch that happens in relationships, right? And it can change over the course of the relationship. So by the way, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Diane, your libido doc, libido expert. But today we're talking about this concept that I'm addressing here around what happens if there's this desire mismatch and how to work with that in context of relationship, especially because sometimes it can start out and many times it can start out as very similar desires. There's that passion, there's that excitement, right? There's all of the new novelty types of hormones and chemicals that are running through our body. And sometimes it's just time that happens and all of a sudden there's desire mismatch. Sometimes it's stress, right? Sometimes there's a lot of stress that goes on. And I see this in a lot of the people that I work with in my medical practice, that when people get sick and they start feeling poorly, right? That is so impactful for the relationship. And one of the things I often tell my patients is that medical stuff, that really severe medical stuff, chronic stuff, doesn't just happen to the individual. It happens to the entire close social unit. Because if you're a parent and you feel horrible, it's harder to show up for your kids. If you're in a relationship, it's harder to show up for your partner. It's harder to show up for yourself or your friends. So there's an impact, multifactorial, that really happens. And of course, sexuality is one of those things. One of the things that I've seen work the best when people are having a hard time really showing up sexually is naming it, is actually to admit, like, I'm really not just like, I'm too tired, honey. Like, I actually really want to show up for you, babe. And I'm feeling exhausted and I'm feeling so conflicted because I know this is valuable to you and I want to show up for you. And I don't know how to get over the fact that I'm so exhausted and I just don't have anything left. When we're saying that, and that's already a very, very different conversation than just I'm too tired, right? Or I don't feel well. The moment we acknowledge, like, hey, we have some level of responsibility, even though if it's a health thing we really can't control, maybe, we don't know why that health problem is, or maybe there's some stress at work, whatever it is. Maybe there's some things that are out of our control. But if we can name it and actually name the fact that it's impactful, then we can oftentimes start to have a conversation. And the conversation might say, like, while I'm figuring this out, while I'm going through this stress and I just feel like I have nothing left, I still want to make sure I can, like, care for our relationship. And, and so we really begin to open that dialogue to say, hey, how is this impacting you? How is this impacting me? And what can we actually do to actually preserve our relationship throughout this? The other thing that really does for people is it puts you on the same team. All of a sudden, the libido being low, the desire being low, all of a sudden it's not like you versus them, right? One person wants it more than another. All of a sudden it's, hey, we're both interested in a healthy relationship. We're both committed to this and we're both interested in helping meet each other's needs. And so what sort of things can we do in the meantime? And sometimes that might be as simple as making sure the other person has enough touch in other ways, right? Sometimes it might be, okay, well, are there other ways that you guys can create orgasm, intimacy, touch that actually work for you when you're really tired, right? What could that look like? Is there times where you can say once a week, set aside time to actually say, okay, well, we're going to schedule sex first thing in the morning when we wake up and we're still in bed on Saturday morning. Maybe that's possible for your life, maybe that's not. But the more you can begin to have these conversations and actually name what's happening, the more it can put you guys back on the same team when you're dealing with stress, fatigue, desire mismatch, and all of those corresponding things. So thanks so much for listening. Please do subscribe. It definitely helps me reach more people. Really appreciate you all. Appreciate your comments. Keep writing. I'll see you soon.